He didn't say anything about any of these white boys. And none of these white boys function like that. And Katt is one of the best painters in the game. Stop. And Katt hurt people, but I am a hurt person that never hurt people. And he does it all the time. This one and that one and this one. But anything that you did wrong.
Katt Williams recently appeared on Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay podcast, and boy, did he cause a stir. The episode, lasting around 3 hours, was filled with Katt's unfiltered thoughts. He didn't hold back, taking digs at comedians like Steve Harvey, Michael Blackson, Rickey Smiley, and Cedric the Entertainer. Kevin Hart was also a target of Katt's comments.
15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to LA and in his first year in LA, he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
Katt criticized Kevin, suggesting he wasn't entirely honest about his rise in the comedy world, labeling him as an industry plant. These two have been trading barbs for a long time, with their rivalry playing out publicly online and in various interviews. It's one of those ongoing celebrity conflicts that seem to keep on giving. Interestingly, Dave Chappelle had previously cautioned Katt about the repercussions of calling out other black comedians. Yet, Katt has dived headfirst into controversy again, igniting discussions about his actions. The initial spark for the current drama was Katt's critique of Kevin Hart, which has since unleashed a series of ongoing disputes. It looks like Katt reached his boiling point and decided to unleash the frustration that had been building up for years. The feud between Kevin Hart and Katt Williams isn't new. It's a long-standing rivalry that has seen both comedians exchanging heated words and clever comebacks. The comedy scene has turned into their arena, with each trying to outdo the other. Katt didn't stop with Kevin Hart. He also aimed jabs at celebrities like Shaquille O'Neal, who have ventured into comedy. This conflict, which had been simmering since at least August 2014, has evolved into a never-ending saga of comedic confrontations, providing endless entertainment and speculation for fans and onlookers alike.
I think that Shaq and Russell Simmons should get out of comedy and stay in their lane. They don't see us making a league of professional basketball players under 6 foot. So what qualifies these dudes because they got $100 million to come over in comedy and do Shaq's All-Star Get Out of Here, you bum.
That's right.
Before I take the rest of you girls. Like you took Kevin Hart from me. I want my bitch back.
For 2 whole years, Katt Williams stayed out of the spotlight. However, everything changed in February 2016, during a significant moment in Atlanta on his conspiracy theory tour. Katt openly criticized Kevin Hart, calling him a puppet, which caught the attention of the media, including Vibe magazine. Katt stood firm, asserting his accomplishments in comedy and his right to critique Hart. Katt pointed out that even if Kevin Hart might be seen as a puppet, it wasn't something to hold against him. He encouraged people not to direct negativity towards another black man making his way in the industry, even if he wasn't to everyone's liking. Katt continued, drawing comparisons between himself and other black comedians, clarifying that recognizing his own talents wasn't meant to diminish anyone else's. He made memorable comparisons, suggesting that being upset with Kevin Hart for his perceived role in the industry was like being angry at Kermit the Frog instead of Jim Henson, or directing frustration towards Mickey Mouse instead of Walt Disney. Katt's eloquence was undeniable. He argued that if Kevin Hart represents the pinnacle of comedy, that shouldn't detract from recognizing another black man's efforts and success. Katt emphasized the importance of not holding grudges or feeling superior to others, even if he personally felt he had more to offer in the world of comedy. Instead of getting upset at characters like Kermit the Frog, Katt Williams suggested that people should look at the creators, like Jim Henson. He implied that if there's any issue with what's being presented, it's not the characters who are to blame, but those who create and control them, like Walt Disney with Donald Duck. This was Katt's way of shifting the focus from the performers to the industry leaders behind the scenes. In response to Katt's comments, Kevin Hart chose a less confrontational path. He took to Instagram with a photo from the 2016 Academy Awards, where he was hanging out with other comedy greats, Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. In his message, Kevin emphasized the importance of unity and support among comedians. He pointed out the hard work required to achieve significant success in comedy, a feat accomplished by only a few. Kevin Hart's post was a call to arms for comedians to stick together, especially in times of disagreement. He shared a moment of camaraderie with Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock, using it to highlight the collective effort it takes to open doors for each other in the industry. Kevin stressed the value of mutual support over rivalry, suggesting that insecurity is what drives a lack of understanding and encouragement among peers. The year 2016 saw the rivalry between Katt Williams and Kevin Hart continue to escalate. Katt ramped up the tension during a performance in Philadelphia, Kevin Hart's hometown, on March 5th as part of his conspiracy-themed talk show. Katt aimed to provoke further drama by issuing a bold challenge to Kevin, proposing a $5 million bet.
See, I seen your stuff on social media, boy, I know what you do, but you do it for play. If you do it for real, here it is, Kevin. I got a show at your hometown in Philly. I'm gonna take my special there. On that stage, we can put whatever you want. A full court basketball court, a boxing ring, 2 microphones for a rap cipher, or you can get your ass dusted in comedy on that stage. But it's $1 million up for each one.
Katt's challenge was a direct call to Kevin to step up if he was serious about his craft, indicating Katt had been paying attention to Kevin's activities on social media and wanted to see if Kevin would accept the high-stakes challenge. Katt Williams didn't hold back when he laid out his challenge to Kevin Hart, offering several competition options: a basketball game, a boxing match, a rap battle with 2 microphones, and, most notably, a comedy showdown on stage with $1 million at stake for each challenge. He even referenced Hart's earnings as reported by Forbes, suggesting he would bring his own money in person to the contest. Katt added a provoking condition for Hart: not to bring any white folks to the event if he wanted to prove he wasn't being controlled by others, all while wearing his iconic fur coat. However, by March 2016, it seemed Katt Williams had a change of heart. During an appearance on V103 Atlanta's The Big Tigger Show, Katt shifted his approach and offered an apology to Kevin Hart for the severe criticism he had unleashed during his tour stop in Philadelphia.
I should have never mentioned Kevin Hart's name. That is the reigning king of comedy if you ask for popular consensus. So now, the fact that he's a black man like me and the fact that I attacked him with such vitriol at a time when our country is already divided in every way it could be divided, racially, politically, economically, socially, religiously. Like, the fact that I, while being on stage pretending to be higher than that, would then stoop down to the same level and try to embarrass Kevin Hart in front of his children and loved ones after all the hard work he's done since the year 2002 is just regrettable on my part. So I humbly apologize to not only Kevin Hart, but Heartbeat Productions, the Plastic Cup Boys, and anybody associated with Kevin Hart.
He recognized the common ground they shared as African-American men and voiced regret for attacking Hart, especially at a time when the nation was already experiencing division. In his conversation with the show's host, Katt admitted it was wrong to try to shame Hart during his performance, extending his apology to not just Kevin Hart, but also to Heartbeat Productions, the Plastic Cup Boys, and anyone else associated with Hart. This radio appearance seemed to be a moment of reflection for Katt, signaling an attempt to mend fences. Then, for 2 years, there was no visible animosity between Katt and Kevin in the public eye. But in September 2018, the dynamic between Katt and Kevin took another turn. The focus widened to include Tiffany Haddish when Katt, during an interview on V103's Frank and Wanda in the Morning, began to critique her comedic talent and questioned her ability to headline a major comedy tour. While on The Breakfast Club promoting their film Night School, Kevin Hart passionately defended Tiffany Haddish and firmly criticized Katt Williams. Hart expressed his frustration with Williams for pointing fingers at Hollywood and external factors, rather than taking responsibility for his own setbacks.
My frustration with Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. Hollywood this, the white man, this, and this. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot.
Katt was in that position at one point.
You were the guy.
Yeah.
You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You off promo shoots. You off your pro trips that they had set up for you. You became a risk to the studios, which is why the studios.
Why was he a risk?
He chose drugs.
Oh, okay.
Take responsibility for what you chose and say, you know what, I gotta fix me. And I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna stand up for comedy.
He revealed that the film studios had distanced themselves from Williams due to issues related to substance use. Hart emphasized that Williams had his moment to shine in the industry, but failed to seize the opportunity when it mattered most. Hart directly questioned Williams' support for up-and-coming talent, challenging whether Williams had ever used his influence to assist others in their careers. Hart argued that without having made such efforts, Williams was in no position to critique those who were currently successful in the comedy scene. The rivalry between these two comedians continued to escalate. In September 2021, 3 years after their ongoing disputes first began making headlines, the tension between Hart and Williams was still evident. During an interview with Baltimore's radio host Persian Nicole, as Revolt reported, Williams didn't shy away from discussing a potential comedy showdown with Hart. Williams confidently stated that competing against him would be unfair, boasting of his more than 10 comedy specials as evidence of his superior comedic talent. He humorously suggested that he could simply pick 2 jokes from each of his specials to dominate the competition, leaving no chance for anyone not named prior.
Let me ask you, if you would be bothered enough, because I know you're normally very unbothered, to do a versus battle between you and Kevin Hart. A lot of fans want you to do it for the culture, do a comedy battle. Would you be bothered enough to do this?
I started verses.
Ooh, come on.
Not come to me with verses. The first verses ever promoted was Steve Harvey versus Katt Williams. It was the underground king of comedy versus and sold as verses. So we don't need to ask me if I would have any interest in things that I am the originator of. Comedically beefing is my lane. It's almost cheating for me. I have over 10 specials, so I don't have to pick but 2 jokes from each special, and I've already deaded anybody whose last name ain't Pryor anyway. But having thrown that out the window, we don't want to add 52 movies. We certainly don't want to add 11 specials. We certainly don't want to add 49 television appearances. We don't want to add an Emmy. It's almost a battle we can't really afford to be in.
This bold declaration was yet another chapter in the long-standing feud between Katt Williams and Kevin Hart, showcasing the competitive spirit and ongoing rivalry within the comedy world. Katt Williams lightly dismissed the impressive achievements of Kevin Hart, including his 52 movies, 11 specials, 49 TV appearances, and an Emmy. He suggested that a face-off between them would be an event too significant for people to overlook, hinting at a showdown that would defy expectations and captivate audiences. The ongoing comedic feud between Hart and Williams was far from over, continuing to draw attention and stir up the comedy scene. Then, on a recent episode of the Club Shay podcast hosted by Shannon Sharpe, Katt Williams openly criticized Kevin Hart, among other comedians, with Hart being a primary target.
Katt's on drugs. Where are the stories? Why is there no story of anybody who ever sold a drug to me, did a drug with me, was around me when I was inebriated? I got 5 daughters. I got 5 sons. Why would we tell these ridiculous stories? Because it's competition.
During this appearance on January 3rd, Williams insinuated that Hart might be a product manufactured by the entertainment industry. The exchange of barbs between these two comedians spilled over onto the podcast, marking another chapter in their rivalry. In response to Katt Williams' provocations on the Shannon Sharpe show, Kevin Hart opted for brevity over a lengthy rebuttal. On the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, now X, Hart advised Williams to release his pent-up anger, labeling the situation as unfortunate. The next day, Kevin Hart appeared on ESPN's NBA Unplugged, where he lightheartedly mocked Katt Williams. Hart humorously critiqued Williams' exaggerated claim of reading 3,000 books a year as a child, revealing the lighter side of their feud.
Figured out how to play basketball from reading all the books.
3,000 of them.
3,000 a year.
A year.
That's 2 a day.
Yeah.
At 6 years old. That's 2 a day. Who knew he was so voracious?
At the age 7, he got accepted to the, I think it was Delaware University.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never made public news.
No. Ever.
The biggest secret in the world.
Many people find themselves agreeing with Katt Williams, suspecting he might be revealing uncomfortable truths about Kevin Hart and the entertainment industry. However, Williams' criticisms extended beyond Hart. He unleashed a tirade against the industry's underbelly and targeted other comedians as well. Among those caught in Williams' outspoken critique was Chris Tucker. Williams suggested that Tucker had changed significantly, implying a transformation that distanced him from the person fans once admired, likening this change to an Epstein version of himself. In the same interview on the Club Shay podcast, Williams showed no signs of holding back, continuing to express his unfiltered views and taking aim at various figures within the comedy world. Katt Williams didn't hold back when he targeted Rickey Smiley, accusing him of not being truthful and critiquing his acting abilities. This dispute ignited over Smiley's claim that he was initially chosen for the role of Money Mike in Friday After Next, a claim Williams outright dismissed as false.
Thank y'all for this opportunity, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Let's just get into this. The whole internet going crazy, comments that Katt Williams made. Whatever, I can't speak on behalf of the other comedians, but the only thing I can speak for is myself. Katt made some comments on Shannon Sharpe show about when I was on Shannon Sharpe, was telling him the story of some of the behind the scenes from Friday After Next. Let's start with that.
In response, Smiley defended himself on his radio show, insisting on his version of the story regarding the casting. He further explained that the character's pimp persona was a development that came about after Williams was cast. Despite the heated exchange, Smiley expressed no hard feelings toward Katt Williams. The conflict didn't stop there. Williams also accused Cedric the Entertainer of dishonesty, alleging that Cedric had taken one of his jokes. Williams asserted that he first delivered this joke in 1998 on BET's Comic View, and that Cedric later used a nearly identical jokey in the 2000 movie, the original Kings of Comedy, altering only a single word. Although Cedric refuted this accusation, Williams remained firm, claiming that both Cedric and Steve Harvey had previously acknowledged the joke theft in private. Williams had overlooked this incident for years, but chose to confront it publicly when Cedric denied the claim in 2022. Moreover, Williams voiced his concerns about Kevin Hart and the broader pressures faced by black male entertainers in Hollywood, particularly the controversial expectation that they wear a dress in a film as a rite of passage to greater fame. This notion, once dismissed as mere conspiracy, has gained traction as more figures in the comedy and acting world share their experiences. Dave Chappelle, for example, has openly discussed his refusal to conform to such expectations, notably rejecting a $50 million offer from Comedy Central in 2006, partly for this reason. He emphasized his stance during an Oprah interview, insisting on maintaining his integrity. Williams' interview revealed his blunt and critical perspective on his peers and the entertainment industry's dynamics. Meanwhile, Dave Chappelle highlighted the potential pitfalls within the industry's culture.
He didn't do nothing wrong. I'm gonna bring a black guy. Katt did this to me. Katt was talking about shit did to other, but not about anything that did to him. If I told my story, it would break your heart. I lost everything and never, ever told on anybody.
Chappelle also reacted to Williams' controversial comments made on the Club Shay podcast, where Williams criticized Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, among others. Chappelle addressed Williams' remarks during a performance at the Hollywood Improv, questioning Williams' approach to publicly calling out fellow comedians. Even Saturday Night Live referenced the ongoing discussions, indicating the widespread attention Williams' outspokenness had garnered, including his critiques of Cedric the Entertainer and Steve Harvey. During one of his shows, Dave Chappelle, who usually insists on no cell phones, found himself discussing Katt Williams' remarks that had started circulating on social media. Chappelle seemed puzzled, noting, "Katt really went after everyone, huh? But he skipped the white comedians. They don't do that kind of thing," mimicking Katt's style. He humorously added, "This one's bad, that one's bad," imitating Katt's critical tone. Chappelle then shifted to a more serious note, questioning whether Katt had actually been wronged by the people he criticized. Katt was talking about what others did, not what was done to him, Chappelle observed. He shared a personal insight, saying, "If I told you my own story, it'd break your heart. I lost everything but didn't betray anyone. And now he's the one telling truths?" Chappelle expressed his respect for Katt, but challenged him, asking, "DeRay, when did it become okay to ruin someone else's hustle?" Chappelle seemed to be wrestling with why Katt would target fellow comedians, especially when everyone is just trying to make it. Dave's response to Katt Williams' controversial interview indicates mixed feelings, especially regarding Williams' focus on black entertainers. Chappelle criticized the lack of commentary on white comedians and questioned Katt's emphasis on others' actions rather than any personal grievances. While showing respect for Williams, Chappelle raised concerns about the consequences of Katt's public criticisms on the careers of those mentioned, questioning the fairness of endangering another's livelihood in the entertainment world. These remarks hint at Chappelle's disagreement with Williams's method, suggesting that in the world of comedy, there should be solidarity and mutual support among those aiming for success. Chappelle didn't shy away from addressing the issue head-on, offering a candid take on the implications of Williams' viral interview. It's a blend of comedy and serious discussion, with Chappelle not holding back his views on the matter, especially on the topic of calling out one's peers in the industry. Ultimately, what we see here is a combination of respect and difference in opinion. Dave Chappelle is essentially questioning what's going on with our community. He's highlighting the need for support among comedians as they navigate their careers. It's like getting a peek behind the curtain at the intricate dynamics of the comedy scene. We're left wondering whether this will lead to more tension or if it's simply another installment in the ongoing story of the comedy industry. Let's keep the laughter rolling and watch how the world of stand-up comedy unfolds.